Wednesday after winning their SEC opener on the road at Auburn. And next week they've got two very tough road games at Ole Miss and at Florida, further emphasizing the point they got to win today.
And Georgia has a really tough SEC schedule. The way they do the scheduling these days, it sort of moves around. But Georgia, the 5 teams that they play twice in the SEC, all 5 are in the top 100 in the RPI right now. So it's going to be a tough road for the Dogs.
Turnover for Georgia on their first possession. And Jordan Geis fires it across the half-court line and then gets it back.
Missouri, with their struggles to score, they're trying to play a more up-tempo game, push the ball down the court. May take some quicker shots today, just in their effort to try and put more points on the board.
Inside they go to Woods. Woods working against Obede, and he misses the shot.
Good D by Obede. Good possession by Missouri, though. They moved the ball around, got a good shot with Woods inside, just couldn't get it home.
Jordan Harris, the freshman for the Bulldogs, number 2, gives it up to Parker. Now Yante Maton, the number 2 scorer in the SEC. Wearing number 1. Gets it back with 7 on the shot clock. Goes by Woods, reverse layup, and missed the layup, but will go to the line for 2.
There's a good possession by Georgia on that trip down the court. Move the ball around, get it to their best player, Yante Maton, inside. Really good scoring chance, close to a 3-point play on that trip.
And look at the progression for Yante Maton now in his junior season, 20.4 points per game, which is number 2 in the SEC. And he's number 3 in the conference, averaging 8.4 rebounds per game.
Maton was not a big-time recruit coming out of high school, but he has really developed, come a long way under this Georgia coaching staff and Mark Fox. Maton is a NBA caliber player at this point.
Yeah, Barry, he was not big-time. He is now big-time.
No question about that. He and J.J. Frazier, 2 all-SEC caliber guys, lead the way for the Georgia Dogs. Gives this team a chance every night.
Per year. All-SEC freshman a year ago, misses the shot, and Parker comes across for Georgia.
Good.
His pass intercepted. That's 2 turnovers for the Bulldogs in the opening 2 minutes.
Ron Parker, an experienced player, just a terrible pass.
And Jordan Barnett with the 3-pointer. Quick timeout called by Mark Fox. Barnett, the midseason transfer from Texas, playing very well the last 2 games.
Well, with the crowd down today due to the weather, an early game, Georgia.
They've been dangerous enough to take a 1-point lead, or 2-point lead, pardon.
Well, and the other night at home in Columbia against LSU, Missouri came out. They played really well, led LSU by double digits for a large chunk of that game. Did not start the second half very well, and the game didn't finish the way the Tigers wanted to. But Missouri can be a threat here against Georgia. The Dogs want to get rolling, put them away early. Don't give them any confidence today.
3 turnovers for Georgia in their first 2 minutes of the game. They averaged 13.5 per game, and they're already at 3 here, just 2 minutes in. Jordan Geis, the transfer from Ranger Junior College, has scored 43 points combined the last 3 games. And Barnett, long 3, and the rebound by Obede.
Barnett got to the same spot where he had hit earlier. Couldn't get that one down, but Georgia pushing it down. Good job by Frazier, dishing it to Maton down low.
Recognized the mismatch there. They had Walton trying to guard Maton. That wasn't going to work. Geist on the drive, rebound, Obede tosses to Frazier. He pushes it up the floor.
Bulldogs doing a nice job defensively. They're hustling back, not allowing Missouri to get those early scoring opportunities that the Tigers want.
Foul's going to be called on Barnett. Oh, pardon me, Puryear is called for the foul. Georgia's got 2 subs already in the ballgame, Diatta and Gino in the ballgame for the starters. As the 3 turnovers, Mark Fox not happy about the way this game started.
Well, the Dogs not showing, especially at the offensive end of the court, not showing that execution that they normally do with these early turnovers.
Gino, pump fake, gives it to Frazier. Still 15 on the shot clock. Maton on the baseline, left it short. Geis runs up the floor. To Barnett on the wing. Spurrier is their leading scorer and rebounder up at the top of the key.
Talk about Missouri's struggles at the offensive end of the court. Defensively, the Tigers have been pretty solid. They're second in the SEC in field goal percentage defense and three-point field goal percentage deep.
Their problems, Barry, have been they can't shoot. They are last in the conference in field goal percentage and last in three-point percentage.
That's a problem. It's a problem when you move the ball around, you get good shots, especially when the shot clock starts to work down. Missouri just doesn't have a guy that they can hand it to and say, go get a shot. Case in point.
Right there.
That trip.
Maton, three-pointer. He's over 40% on his threes, followed his own miss, and missed the putback.
Against this Missouri team, they just don't have a lot of size either, so Maton can really have his way if he gets down close to the basket.
And the foul is going to be called on Georgia's Gino. First team foul on the Bulldogs. Carl Hess, Chuck Jones, Jason Baker, our crew working today's ball game.
This game has started about as well as Missouri could have hoped for. A low-scoring game, lots of turnovers by Georgia. Even the crowd that's here is out of this game.
Well, you got to give the crowd something to cheer about, don't you?
Absolutely.
Woods on the drive, tried to muscle it up there. Gino with the rebound. Missouri has started 1 for 7 from the floor. Georgia 1 for 4. Maton had it knocked away. Fourth turnover for the Dogs. Ahead it comes to Walton. Beats everybody down the floor and one.
Just what Missouri wants to do. Push it down the court. Score early in the shot clock.
Well, Missouri has jumped out to an early lead here in Athens, a place they have never won in either Maton or Frazier, which is great, except if one of those isn't there, then that's bad.
Well, J.J. Frazier yet to take a shot this evening, or this afternoon, I should say. Not very productive so far today, and Missouri taking advantage of that. Off to a nice start, up 6-3.
He was on the bench after committing the foul that led to that three-point play right there for Walton coming out of the break.
The officials allowing some reaching in today, so the players need to adjust to that, take advantage of it, start raking at that basketball. Missouri has done a nice job, forced the 4 turnovers.
Wow, another
Tigers
turnover.
Haven't turned it over yet themselves. We're up to 5 now for Georgia.
Georgia incredibly sloppy with the ball to start this game. Walton drives, and a foul is going to be called on the Bulldogs.
Just what Missouri needs to do. Aggressive offensively, using those hands, poking away at the basketball, and then pushing it down the court. Nice job by Phillips there, reaching in, knocking the basketball away, and then the Tigers push it down the court. And it's Walton that ends up at the line.
K.J. Walton now with 4 of the Tigers' first 7 points. Bulldogs now have 3 personal fouls, 5 turnovers, and 1 made basket.
We talked about the struggles for Missouri, how they've been so poor on the road, having a really difficult season this year. And you don't want to encourage a team that's in that situation. You want to get on them early, get them down. Don't let them think they've got a chance to win today. And Georgia has done the opposite of that. Missouri off to a nice start and starting to feel like they got a chance in this game.
Crump the miss and the rebound by Walton. Terrence Phillips now in the ball game. And Walton missed, and he was fouled. And so Walton's going to go back to the line. 4 team fouls now on Georgia.
I love what Missouri is doing. They are adjusting to how this game is being called. They're driving it to the basket. The officials are calling the fouls on those plays when you attack the basket. And they're reaching for the basketball at the defensive end. The refs aren't calling those. Missouri off to a great start.
Off the inbounds, Barnett missed point blank, and Maton with the rebound. Frazier back in the game for Georgia. Parker, big jump step, and he got fouled on his shot. He'll go to the line.
Finally, Georgia gets it down around the basket. Missouri last in the SEC in block shots as well. So Georgia can do damage when they get that ball inside, get it around the rim. You don't have that shot blocking presence for Missouri. The Dogs need to attack, get that ball around the rim.
Ja'Juan Parker averages 8.5 points per game. He's 85% of the free throw line. That's just his 5th miss of the year at the line, by the way. He has scored double figures in his last 3 games. And for the last 6 after doing it only once in the first 51 games of his career.
Ja'Juan has had Achilles trouble, missed all of last season and part of the previous season with that Achilles problem. A good player, experienced player, good piece for these Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia was still just one made basket in the first 6 minutes of this game, and a traveling call is going to be called on Walton. So that'll be the first turnover of the game for the Tigers. Parker inside the arc. Georgia now 1 for 6 on their shots, but they'll get another chance as Barnett got the rebound but was standing on the baseline.
And that ball got knocked away. It looked like one of the Bulldogs tapped the ball, but I guess it did bang off Barnett before it bounced, and the officials ruling that it hit the inline. So Georgia getting the break on that one.
Yeah, on the replay, looked like he actually dribbled it out of bounds as he was trying to control it. Gino the miss. Georgia has started this game 0 for 3 behind the arc, 1 for 7 from the floor. Phillips on the drive, a kick out to Barnett for 3. Out of bounds, and it's going to be off of Georgia. Take a look at Jordan Barnett. He's the midseason transfer from Texas. He's a local guy from St. Louis, local to Missouri. Got a big body, but they want him to get a little bit more inside and mix it up a little bit more. He's been basically a wing player so far.
Looking for that intensity and that consistency from Jordan Barnett, and then to be active down around the basket. Missouri they don't have many guys that can threaten the score down inside, and that is what challenges the defense and creates good scoring opportunities for others.
Tigers now 1 of 6 on their 3-point shots with that miss right there by Phillips.
J.J. Frazier continuing to be patient in this game.
No points, no shots, 1 assist for Frazier in the first 6 minutes.
Look for him to be a little more aggressive here as the game goes along, try and get his club going.
Wow, Georgia. 6 turnovers in the first 7 minutes of the game. Can't keep that up. That'll be 40 for the game.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble there. Hard to score when you're not getting shots. Georgia, the experienced team, quality point guard, J.J. Frazier. Dogs just not getting shots here early in the game.
Yeah, Walton goes right by Gino, gets the basket. Walton has scored 7 of their first 10.
K.J. Walton has been in attack mode, taking it downhill, driving it to the rim. Just about every time he gets the basketball, he's having a lot of success.
He's already reached his per-game average of 7 a game, and Mayton inside the arc, and that's the second basket for Georgia, and both of them have come from Mayton.
And Mayton still, you taking that jump shot, the 16, 18-foot jump shot there on that last trip. I want to see Mayton get down around the basket, put a lot of pressure on the Missouri defense.
Puryear, mid-range jumper, Mayton the rebound. That gives him 3. Frazier pulls up inside the circle. Parker gets the offensive glass for Georgia. And a traveling call on Ja'Juan Parker. Opening 8 minutes here in Athens. Missouri still leading Georgia by 4. I mean, their turnover numbers are not terrible, but they're not great. But today they're terrible.
Yes. Yes, you're not going to score if you're not getting shots. Georgia has thrown it away on so many occasions. They only have generated 4 points in the first 8 minutes of play on a 20-point pace. Or 6 points, excuse me. They're on a 24-point pace for the game.
And we do have a shot clock. Kessler passes back out of the low block. Georgia with just, Georgia's got 3 of their starters on the floor right now. Diatta dumps it off for Kessler. Had his shot tapped from behind, but a foul is going to be called on Missouri.
Bodies strewn on the court here after that drive to the basket. Nice job by Harris dropping it off to Kessler, giving him the easy scoring chance. Missouri not going to give up the layup. Guys, a lot of guys ending up on the deck after that little scrum.
So Puryear picks up his second personal foul, and that puts Houston Kessler at the line. He's only 2 of 4 at the line this season. That's just the 7th point he scored for Georgia for the entire season here in game number 15. He's out of Noonan, Georgia. Landmark Christian, of course, the son of former Georgia Bulldog Chad Kessler and the nephew of former Georgia Bulldog great Alec Kessler.
Showing his poor foul shooting touch on that second attempt. Didn't come close on that one and stepped over the foul line because he knew he had missed it trying to follow that shot.
Lane violation was called on Georgia on that second free throw attempt by Kessler. Now Georgia showing some full court pressure.
This press, not a real aggressive press. Having a discussion, Coach Fox chatting with the officials. Not sure what they're checking on at this point.
Well, they were going to go to the monitor. Looking to see if Kessler committed a lane violation. Doesn't look.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did.
Over the line before the ball hits the rim.
You're right. Good call.
And that shouldn't be reviewable either. I'm not sure still why they're at the table at this point.
Perhaps it's a time issue. Did the clock tick? The clock.
Why would that matter either? I am another of my pet peeves here. These reviews over things that are insignificant, like now they have gone to a situation where they check whether it's a 2 or a 3. They don't stop the game in the middle of the game to find out whether a shot is a 2 or a 3. I want to eliminate a lot of these reviews. Check them on a timeout. But try and keep the flow of the game going.
The game pet peeves. I know. And we're going to hit on some of them later on in the day as well. We're going to give you a chance to get on that soapbox.
Right there. Good Lord.
Pet peeve number 2. Number 3 coming up later.
Oh, yeah.
Barnett comes up to the elbow and hits the turnaround. So Barnett has hit 2 shots, and he has 5 points.
Barnett was the guy who took about 4 steps when he caught the ball at around midcourt. So Missouri basically gifted a basket there because that turnover wasn't called.
And that was officially 2 points off of the turnover. So all 12 of their points are still off of Georgia turnovers. The turnover on the lane violation on the foul shot. Obede is called for the foul on Georgia. So Georgia now up to 5 team fouls.
Dogs going to zone defense. Missouri's done a great job, especially K.J. Walton attacking the basket. Their zone defense for Coach Fox, hoping to keep those drives from occurring.
Harris nearly the steal. Phillips takes advantage of it, gets the low block, but the Tigers going to have to pass out of it. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Phillips long 3 and canned it.
Oh, the Tigers off to a great start in this ball game, up by 8 points. And Phillips knocking down that shot. Phillips has been removed from the starting lineup here of late. Coming in off the bench, effective against LSU and effective so far tonight as well.
Walton on the drive, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Walton. Shot clock winding down. This is one of the things that Kim Anderson says they don't really have a guy that can hit a shot with the clock winding down, but Phillips did it right there.
Phillips did it there. You wouldn't want to count on taking 26, 27-footers with the shot clock winding down all night to get your offense. But on that trip, Phillips able to knock out a big shot and give Missouri their largest lead at 8.
And by the way, those 3 points right there were the first 3 points of the game for Missouri not scored off of a Georgia turnover, or the result of a Georgia turnover. But still 12 of the 15. And Georgia has gone nearly 2.5 minutes since hitting their last field goal. They've missed 9 of their last 10, and they're 2 for 11 for the floor in the game.
Missouri defense has been good. They haven't allowed Georgia to get out in transition, not getting any easy scoring opportunities, pushing it down the court. And then the Dogs have been a little impatient taking those long jumpers.
Offensive foul, going to wave off the slam by Obede. Foul's going to be called on Maton.
Maton grabbing at his ankle at the end of that little sequence as well. Like the idea by Maton, try and get to the basket, but we have seen that call made. The charge as a player drives to the basket. So good D by Missouri once again.
And Russell Woods was the guy that stood in there and took the punishment for the Tigers. 8-point lead for Missouri on the road. They have not won on the road in close to 2 full years. Van Leer, the miss. Barnett trying to go over the back of Diatta, committed the offensive foul. Going for the rebound, and Barnett picks up his first personal foul, and that'll be the 6th team foul on Missouri.
Well, the Dogs have foul shots to look forward to at least, as the offensive woes continue for Georgia here on their home court.
Trying to get the ball to Maton. Diatta can't. Turtle Jackson goes inside with Obede, and the foul's going to be called on Phillips. Good job by Turtle Jackson, local high school star from here in Athens. Recognized the mismatch as Phillips was trying to guard Obede.
Obede will step to the line here, a 58% foul shooter.
Played for a state championship team in Atlanta during his high school days. Pebblebrook, he's averaging 7.5 points, 6.5 rebounds per game. Georgia now 4 of 6 at the foul line to start this day. 4 free throws for Georgia and 2 field goals for Georgia in the first 11 minutes.
A situation like this, you're used to your home crowd giving you that energy, giving you the excitement to get out there and play. It's a decent crowd here in Athens, especially considering the weather.
Well, I was getting ready to say, and the weather's not bad outside. It's cold, but everybody they were expecting this huge winter storm to hit Atlanta and hit Athens. Well, nothing really happened in Athens. A little bit happened in Atlanta. Needless to say, it was much ado about really almost nothing. But it did affect the crowd a little bit because people were thinking they're going to have to stay inside all day.
I got a good friend that lives in Atlanta now and has for the last 25 years or so, that allegedly grew up in New Jersey, and he was going to drive over this morning, but thought that the roads were just too bad. So I'm not sure he grew up in New Jersey. He's losing his Yankee cred for sure.
I don't know that it's the roads are so bad. It's the drivers on the roads are so bad that you're afraid you're going to get run into. Inside Maton, he got fouled on the play.
It is not something to take lightly, driving when the weather is in this situation. With the roads icy, things can happen that are unexpected.
Van Leer called for the foul, so Maton at the line for 2. And let me tell you something. I was at Missouri a couple of weeks ago when they played Eastern Illinois, and an ice storm hit Missouri. I-70 between St. Louis and Kansas City was a mess. And let me tell you, I don't care where you live, nobody can drive on ice.
Yes.
You can drive on snow, but when it's an ice rink, everybody slides.
Oh, yeah. Four-wheel drive or otherwise.
Maton with the free throw. Maton has been Georgia's offense for what it is today. He has been their offense. 6 of the 9 points scored by the junior. Hughes in the corner, 3-point attempt on its way, and Maton grabs the rebound. Maton now 4 boards to go with his 6 points, and Georgia trying to get some transition going here. Now in the half-court set.
Missouri continues to do the job slowing down the Georgia fast break, not allowing them to get those early offense opportunities.
Maton jump hook, banks it in.
That is a shot that Georgia should be able to get all day. Give it to Yante Maton down low. Missouri has no one who can contend with the big fella. Dogs back in their zone defense.
Hughes on the baseline was able to get open and nail it. He's been in a little bit of a slump. That's his first make after 2 misses.
Nice job by Missouri moving that ball from side to side on the court. Found Hughes open. was able to knock down the shot.
Edwards, stolen by Hughes. Turnover number 10 for Georgia. Hughes drives and high banker. Tip attempt. Battled for. Nico underneath. Couldn't get it to fall. He ends up on the deck. Playing 4-on-4 right now. Now 5-on-5.
Like the play by Hughes, though. Don't pull it out. Don't force your team to get into the half-court offense. Just take it to the rim in transition.
Turtle Jackson with the basket. Georgia's cut it to 3.
The Georgia offense starting to heat up a bit. Turtle Jackson banging home that shot. But still the pace of this game definitely in Missouri's favor. Slowing it down when they don't have the fast break opportunities, and definitely slowing it down when Georgia has the ball.
Nico back to Barnett. Barnett missed up close. Rebound pulled down by Diatta. Frazier, who's still only taken one shot. Remember, he averages 16 a game. And Diatta traveled, turnover number 11 on Georgia. So Georgia's starting to get their offense going here. After 4 misses behind the three-point line, Turtle Jackson, top and watch ESPN. And today, Alabama linebacker telling the SEC that they feel like they're being disrespected, even though the Tigers are the underdogs in the ballgame. That was linebacker Ryan Anderson saying they don't feel like they're underdogs, although Clemson is getting a lot of the love from the experts predicting an upset.
Everybody's got to work up that anger. Nobody believes in us. We've only been number 1 all season.
Only been number 1 for the last decade.
Yes.
Work up that us against the world mentality.
It should be a lot of fun, though, Monday night.
Oh, I think so.
Great game last year. Alabama had to have the onside kick to pull off the victory against Clemson. It should be a high-scoring, fun game, although the way Alabama plays deep, maybe not.
Well, that's the same story last year, and it was a 40-35 game against an equally tough Alabama defense, although I tell you what's really astounding about this Alabama defense this year is the way that defense scores points.
Yes.
They just take the ball and score it themselves.
With Deshaun Watson, the Heisman Trophy winner last year, see if he can have the type of performance that he did last year in that championship game. He's just marching the Tigers up and down that field.
And, of course, Deshaun Watson grew up just about 30 minutes from this arena right here. Started at Gainesville, Georgia High School, just right up the road. Geist, three-pointer on the way, and coming in the back door, Walton trying to get the rebound, had his hands on it, but his foot on the line as he did.
Another one of my pet peeves, Matt. I want to see college basketball push their schedule back. I mean, we're talking about the football championship game, and we're already into conference play in basketball, and nobody's paying attention because the focus is on football. I got the NFL getting into their playoffs. I'd love to see college basketball get started at around Christmas time instead of around Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm with you. I think about pushing back the entire sports calendar, start baseball later, play it into the summer, and just let these sports enjoy, seasons unto themselves without all this overlap. How about that?
Yeah, I've heard that golf, they're talking about trying to push their season forward, moving the PGA Championship and the Tour Championship forward in the calendar so they don't have to compete with the NFL in September.
That was Kessler with the basket as Georgia has inched to within 1 point here.
Hogs finally getting going. Still Missouri encouraged and playing with confidence.
Phillips with the three-pointer. That's his second of the ball game. You mentioned the game he had against LSU on Wednesday. 12 points, 7 rebounds, tied his career high with 8 assists. Coming off the bench, it worked well. They tried it again today.
Missouri, once again, when they push the ball down the court, when they're getting those quick shots, they're getting good shots. And Terrence Phillips this time able to knock one down. Though Missouri, a lot of the very good scoring opportunities they've had, they just haven't been able to knock down the shots.
Jackson with the move inside and Walton the rebound. Second board for Walton. Geist gets it on the wing, a three-pointer on the way, and didn't get the bounce. Offensive glass, however, by Woods, who puts it in with the left hand for his first basket.
What a rebound by Woods, rebounding outside his area, going over the top of a couple of Georgia Bulldogs to snatch that board and stick it back.
He's the only scholarship senior on this Missouri team that's a very inexperienced team.
344th out of 351 teams in the country as far as experience goes.
Inside to Mayton. Mayton is able to get it and put it in. Great dexterity by Mayton to control that pass. He's at double figures now. 10 of Georgia's 18.
With 1 on the shot clock, Georgia gets it inside to Mayton to get the layup.
Phillips going to try another 3. Hit 2, missed that one. Barnett chases it down in the corner in a double team and into trouble. And let's see, they're going to rule it is going to be Missouri's ball. So Missouri has shot only 29% from the floor in this first half, but it's been good enough with some tough play inside by Woods to have a 4-point lead.
At Regions Bank, we're here to help you move your life forward. But managing money
To win here in Athens today.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to this earlier, Barry. Look at that. I mean, they're good defensively, second in the conference in field goal defense, second in three-point field goal defense, but they're dead last shooting the ball. So they got to get their offensive numbers up there with their defensive numbers. Maybe get out of this losing streak they're in. 23 straight SEC road games they have lost. Have not won since 2014 when they defeated Arkansas 75-71 on the road.
When you don't shoot it as well as the opponent, get more shots by rebounding and by forcing turnovers. And that time, Jordan Barnett just able to go get one for Missouri.
Yeah, he's 3 of 7 from the floor, has 7 of the Tigers' 24. Averaging 10 a game, 7.3 rebounds per game. This is just his 5th game because, as we mentioned earlier, midseason transfer from Texas.
Missouri doing a great job against J.J. Frazier, just not getting shots off.
Turnover number 12 for Georgia. And I just want to clarify for those, when I say mid-season transfer, what I mean is he mid-season transferred last year. He had to sit out, so he was not eligible to play for Missouri until December 17th.
Yes.
Didn't
After
transfer in the middle of this season. Yeah.
Yes.
Geis working against Gino, hit the jumper. Geis' first shot made after missing 4, and the Tigers have rebuilt an 8-point lead.
We see Missouri, they have gained confidence. They're starting to shoot the ball with more confidence and knocking down some shots. With Georgia off to the slow start today, giving Missouri a chance.
Mayton shoots over Phillips, and the rebound, Obede, missed point blank, and last touch by Mayton. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern, we'll have 2 of the top teams in the conference squaring off. It's Dusty Hanna's and the Arkansas Razorbacks taking on Malik.
Point percentage over 40. He's only 86% from the line. I don't know about this kid.
And what a big game it's going to be for him. He is from the state of Arkansas, so going up against the home state team, gets the Razorbacks on his home turf, his new home turf tonight at Rupp Arena. Top scoring freshman in the nation, over 22 points per game. That should be a good one tonight on SEC Network at 8:30 Eastern. Missouri on a 9-2 run, and they have matched their largest lead of the game here with 8-point lead on Georgia as we approach 70 seconds to play in the half. 4 on the shot clock. Phillips tries to get contact on Harris. Did hit the iron with his shot. Doesn't matter as Georgia gets the rebound. Harris fumbled it out of bounds, but it was last touched by Missouri. And how about this? I mean, 1 minute left in this half, and Frazier's still only taking 1 shot for Georgia. What's up with that?
That's what I was about to say. I want to see J.J. Frazier get aggressive here, find a shot somehow. Missouri playing this zone defense, but they are aware where J.J. Frazier is and trying to take him away.
Diatta the miss, and it's chased down by Woods. Now, do you think it's had a reverse effect? Now, Coach Fox was talking to J.J. about playing more under control, thought he took some bad shots in that South Carolina game, but you need to take some shots.
Yes. Yeah.
One shot's not good enough for Frazier. You got to get more than that from Frazier, don't you?
Absolutely. I think J.J. was too aggressive the other night against South Carolina. Off the dribble, took some very difficult shots. But here, today, he is not only squeeze off one shot. He's got to be more aggressive than that. Here he goes.
Teardrop and puts it in off the front iron. That's more like it for J.J. Frazier. 1 second, Barnett at the buzzer. And that will be the end of the first half. But all things said and considered, Missouri's got to be happy. They scored 14 of their 26 points. And now we have a dust-up going on.
Their accounting type running through the numbers. You wouldn't think of him as a fighter.
So consequently, both teams will start with a team foul, double technicals, one on Steve Shields for Missouri, Kent Davidson for Georgia, and Mark Fox got his coat off as we start this second half, and the rebound by Parker. And I tell you what it's did, it's gotten the Georgia crowd into the ball game. Frazier hits the jumper to get things started.
And J.J. Frazier into the ball game as well. Only took one shot in the first 19 minutes, 40-something seconds of the first half. Ended the first half with a jumper, a little floater, and now knocking out a jumper to start the second half. The crowd into it.
Now, Barry, you just took your coat off. You're not getting ready to slug me or nothing.
I had my coat off
the
entire first half as well.
All right, just want to make sure. Geis the miss, Obede the rebound.
That fake choke job I'd had on you during halftime, that's as physical as I ever get.
That was just for television illustration purposes. No animosity here. Parker the miss and the rebound by Woods. Although you are crowding in on my side a little bit.
They told me to get close to him.
Jumper, Purrier the miss. Purrier has not scored in this game, by the way. He's their leading scorer at 12 per game. Frazier all the way and one.
Matt, here is the difference between these two ball clubs. Missouri does not have a guy who can just
self-destructed and got outscored 53-37 in the second half in Wednesday's loss against the Bengal Tigers.
So Kim Anderson burns a quick timeout, reminds his club, hey, let's play the way we did in the first half. Let's get things going again. Missouri still leading, but Georgia with all the moat.
That was just the 7th free throw attempt missed by Frazier this entire season. He's 91% or was before that miss right there. And again, Purrier is yet to score. He's going to try to do something about it right there. Blocked by Obede. Woods picks it up, working against Maton, forces it in there with the left hand.
Finally, Woods able to score. He's had several scoring opportunities, but with Maton and Obede protecting the rim, it's tough to score down low against these Georgia Bulldogs.
Jordan Harris drops it off per Parker, and he slams it home. Parker with his first basket.
The crowd into the game, the players, more intensity, more passion as we start this second half, and Georgia trying to get control.
Barnett three off the front iron. Georgia rebound. Maton gets to Frazier. Chance to tie or take the lead. Bounce pass Harris, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line.
We saw very few fast break opportunities for Georgia in the first half. They have had a couple here in the second half with J.J. Frazier, one of the best in the SEC at pushing tempo, bringing it down and getting his dog some early offense.
Jordan Harris, 61% at the foul line this season. Georgia only 5 of 11 at the stripe today, and that's their 7th miss. Georgia has been very good at the line this season, 74.4, which is 5th in the conference, but not today. Obede goes to the bench, and Edwards checks in for him. Harris, the freshman star out of Seminole County High School, way down in South Georgia. And Harris with the second of the 2 free throws. Georgia within one, stolen by Frazier and fouled. Frazier is going to go to the line. Wow, Missouri's got to be thinking this is deja vu all over again.
And it's Kidd dynamite exploding for the Georgia Bulldogs here in the start this second half. J.J. Frazier taking over the ball game, drawing that foul, giving his club the lead after he makes these 2 foul shots, Matt.
Very confident of you, and why not? Like I said, he is a 91% free throw shooter. Georgia has led only once in the game, and that's when Maton hit his first free throw. Georgia led 1-0. Trying to take their second lead of the game right here with a Frazier free throw, and they do. And Van Leer is going to check in for Walton. And the crowd boos that. I mean, Missouri, a pretty benign opponent for these Georgia fans. Not a whole lot of animosity directed towards the Tigers. But they all changed that after halftime. Now they're public enemy number 1.
That's how rivalries get going. And there's another steal.
Parker got it. Got Harris and then got swiped from behind and knocked out of bounds by Barnett to save a fast break.
And this crowd has filled in since the start of the game. They are much more vocal here in the second half.
Frazier, 3. Bodies fall. Parker, the offensive rebound. Goes up with it. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line. My goodness. The Tigers have committed 5 team fouls here in the first 3 minutes of the half.
And it's just Georgia's aggressiveness, their intensity, their activity, especially at the offensive end of the court. The Dogs taking charge of this ball game on their home floor.
9-2 run to start this second half to erase their halftime deficit, and they lead by 1. And now Parker at the line. He's 1 for 3 today. Biggest lead of the game for Georgia, 2 points.
And only 2 points and 2 turnovers for Missouri here in these first 3 minutes of the second half. It's a different Georgia Bulldog team in the second half than the first.
Yeah, and don't forget about the 5 team fouls, because that means Georgia's likely going to be shooting a lot of free throws here in the second half.
Talked about their foul shooting percentage. Haven't taken that many here to start the game. They've missed quite a few, but that percentage probably going to come up as they shoot a lot of foul shots coming down the stretch. The Tigers got to stop the bleeding in desperate need of a basket.
Barnett goes to Woods, working against Edwards, and the basket by Woods, who has 6. Woods is having himself a fine senior season after much, pretty much of a role player situation last year in his first year in the program. He's averaging 7 points, 5 rebounds per game. And Georgia coughs it up.
Foul on Edwards, stepping in, trying to get position underneath the basket. Woods held his ground and able to draw that foul.
Yep, first foul on Edwards, and that's the first team foul for Georgia in the half.
Kevin Career at this point get involved, trying to assert himself.
Frazier nearly had the steal and ends up in Barnett's hands. Kessler falls on top of the ball as well. Jump ball called. It'll be Missouri's ball. No, it's going to be Georgia's ball. Pardon me.
Missouri really needing some offense. I'd like to see the leading scorer for the Tigers, Kevin Puryear, get aggressive, get involved in this game when this team really needs it.
Well, he's missed all 4 of his shots, and he's committed 3 personal fouls. Not been a good day for Kevin Puryear. Coming off a 15.7 rebound performance against LSU on Wednesday. Diatta kicked to the corner. Frazier inside the arc. And Kessler tried to run down the rebound, but the Tigers get it instead. To Hughes, transition 3, popped it, no, he popped it. Barnett went up and got it, and then sent it back from where it came.
Missouri just so much better when they push the ball down the court. Go ahead and take those quick shots. Hughes couldn't get it home, but Georgia's defense wasn't organized, and Barnett got the stuff.
Diatta with the basket. The average is only 2.5 a game, but Diatta getting some run time here today. Georgia up 1. Air-mailed the three-point attempt after the slam by Barnett. Nobody picks up Frazier. Why didn't anybody pick him up? The defense just kept falling back, Barry.
Well, and that's Missouri several times here in the second half with Georgia and Frazier pushing that tempo. The Dogs getting some good scoring chances.
Phillips way off the mark. Diatta the rebound. Outlet comes to Frazier. Georgia running. Turtle Jackson miss. Rebound. Phillips. Spin move to get out of traffic. On the run. Barnett. Offensive foul. Offensive foul called on Jordan Barnett.
Missouri hadn't had many highlights here in the second half, but Jordan
Barnett today, his last 2 games, he had totaled 33 points and 22 rebounds in their 5-point loss against Lipscomb and 11-point loss against LSU. This after he'd scored just 7 points and 7 rebounds combined in his first 2 games in a Tigers uniform. So starting to break off some of that rust after not playing for really 2 years. Played very little at Texas. First Rick Barnes and then Shaka Smart before he decided to transfer. Maton dishes off for Diatta, who put the ball on the floor for some reason, but still got a foul. He was lucky there because anytime the big guy puts the ball on the floor, that's a turnover waiting to happen, but they bailed him out by fouling.
He put it on the floor and didn't go anywhere. Yeah. He caught it 5 feet away from the basket, just bank it home. But Diatta ending up at the foul line as Georgia continuing their strong play here in the second half.
Pape Diatta. He's out of Dakar, Senegal, by way of College of Southern Idaho. So he has spanned the globe to get to Athens, Georgia.
And Mark Fox searching high and low to find talent.
Senegal and then Idaho. You are searching high and low. Geis in a double team, in trouble. Can he get rid of it? He does to Barnett. Traveled. 8th turnover on the Tigers.
Barnett just gets a little sloppy with his footwork at times. We saw him in the first half get away with one. That time shuffling those feet, getting caught.
Inside, Diatta reverses it in. 6 for Diatta.
With Maton and Frazier on the court, such great offensive threats. The Missouri defense getting stretched out, opening up opportunities for other players. Nice pass by Maton to set up Diatta.
And the basket by Phillips.
As Georgia was starting to stretch that lead out, Phillips able to knock home a 3, trim it back down to 4.
Phillips has hit 3 3-pointers today, all but 1 for Missouri. Rebound Geis. Opportunity for Missouri to climb back into this thing. Hughes misses the 3. Maton the rebound, and a foul is going to be called on Georgia. I believe Diatta. Yep, Diatta whistled for the foul. That's number 1 on him.
Diatta trying to stop Barnett from crashing the boards again. A little too aggressive with the block out on that play.
Second team foul on Georgia. Inbounds failed. That's an inbounds fail. Geis tried to throw it off the back of the Georgia defender and missed.
It looks really bad when it doesn't work out. Jordan Geis, I think, just really trying to avoid the 5-second count. We've seen this play several times, just trying to bang it off the backside of somebody, and a guy will end up with a layup at times, but Yante Maton was moving. Geis missed him by a couple of body lengths there.
Frazier with the free throw, and with that make right there, he now moves into 7th place on Georgia's all-time free throw made list, passing by the great Terry Fair, who was a member of Georgia's 1983 Final Four team.
Little guy, J.J. Frazier, but man, has he had a fantastic career here in Athens, among the leaders in scoring, three-pointers, all the three-point shooting stats, as well as assists and steals.
Frazier goes to the bench. He has scored 12 points in the last 8 minutes of this game after going scoreless in the first 19. Now Missouri coughs it up from the pressure Georgia defense, forcing the turnover. And Parker fouled by Phillips. Phillips commits his second personal, 9th team foul on Missouri. Georgia close to the double bonus.
And the Dogs looking like themselves here in the second half, playing with so much more intensity, aggressiveness, quickness, taking control of this game against Missouri.
Parker, free throw. He's now 4 of 6 today. Georgia increases their free throw percentage for the day to 68%. They're 15 for 22. They've taken 19 more free throw attempts than Missouri in this game.
Yeah, the turnovers in the first half by Georgia limited their scoring opportunities, but doing a better job taking care of the basketball and forcing turnovers on Missouri here in the second half.
Georgia, once down by 8 points to Missouri in the first half, now leads by 8 points here, 7.5 minutes into the second half. Hughes left open for a three. Walton chases down the rebound. Screen set by Woods, and foul is going to be called on Georgia and Turtle Jackson. 4th team foul on Georgia in the half.
Hard drive by Phillips, trying to use that ball screen. Jackson trying to get over the top of the screen, just using his arms a little too much. And there's Parker, speaking of using your arms a little too much.
That's the 5th team foul on Georgia.
Missouri desperately needing to get to the bonus, needing to find a way to get some more scoring opportunities. If they can get to the line here in the second half, that would be a huge help for them.
Phillips, that's a three-pointer for him. 4 3-pointers for Phillips in this game. Have produced all of his points. He has 12. And a whistle on Wood. Now, do you believe that Carl Hess, Chuck Jones, Jason Baker, after what happened at the end of the first half, I mean, they're calling this game tight. That is now, we've had 15 total fouls called here in the first 8 minutes of this half.
That definitely has an impact when you have that sort of an incident, and the temperature in the room rises that way. The officials definitely don't want to let things get out of hand. An experienced crew here. We've got Andre Patillo from the SEC office also here, headed into the officials' locker room at halftime. I had a chat with the officials, so I know that their directive was, hey, keep a lid on things, don't let it get out of hand. And we've seen a parade to the foul line by the Georgia Bulldogs as a result.
Gary, I believe that's exactly what's going on here, because just every little bit of contact is being whistled right now. They will make sure no more chippiness. And it did. I mean, what happened at the end of the first half, you couldn't see that coming. The first half was not chippy at all.
Yeah, it was sort of a dead environment here at Stegman Coliseum in Athens. The crowd not very active. The Dogs sleepwalking. But that little incident at halftime really cranked things up all the way around. And it's been a different game since then.
Puryear misses. He still has yet to score. Goes up strong and finally gets his first basket of the game.
Kevin Puryear, aggressive that time, staying with it. We talked about how the game is being called closely. It's a good time to drive it to the basket, especially for Georgia, who don't have the shot blocking for Missouri.
Parker, three, got it. No, that's a two. Hardman was inside the arc, just 2 for that. 7-point lead, Georgia.
Missouri doesn't have the offensive firepower just to trade baskets with Georgia.
Nice left-handed touch by Woods, who has 8. 4 of 6 from the floor.
This high-scoring, high-tempo second half. Georgia, they only had 20 points in the half, already with 27 in the second, make it 29.
Back-to-back baskets by Parker, now in double figures for the fourth consecutive game. Walton, lane left open for him, tried to drop it off for Woods. Ball goes out of bounds. We have a whistle and a foul called on Georgia. But Georgia has outscored Missouri 29-16. Apparently, the end of the half spilling over in Georgia's history in the second game of the season against UNC Asheville. And quickly moving up that chart, he's got Jackie Dorsey and Jimmy Pitts in his sights within the context of this game. Walton, the free throw. Missouri perfect from the line today, but that's only 4 for 4, while Georgia's 18 of 25.
Missouri getting into the bonus, getting some chances from the foul line from this point forward, and they're going to need to take advantage of every one of them. Trailing by 6, and Georgia hot in the second half.
Yeah, all 5 free throw attempts for Missouri in this game have come from Walton, too. Seven on the shot clock for the Bulldogs. Frazier, hands on the ball, working against Van Leer. Goes by him, pulls up, off the iron, Making battling for the rebound. Woods got hit in the head. And he's struggling down the floor. Missouri waits for him to show up. And it looks like he got hit right on top of his head, probably an elbow. Inside they go. Puryear. Frazier the rebound.
Puryear just hadn't been able to get going today.
Edwards unable to keep his balance, travel. And that'll be the 14th turnover for Georgia, but just the second in this half. And Barnett's going to come in for Woods, who's still rubbing the top of his head as he goes to the bench. Obede checks in for Georgia, and Edwards comes out.
Good scoring group on the court now for Georgia. We'll see if Missouri can find some offense here. I think with almost 10 minutes left, you're going to have to get to low 60s to win this game. Nice jumper that time by Walton, getting in the, was it Walton or Barnett?
No, it's Phillips.
Phillips. Okay.
Phillips has 14. Obede beats his man on the block and puts it in. Phillips has the hot hand. He's got 14. He's their only player in double figures. Guns for another 3. Hit the iron. Rebound. Obede. 8 boards for him, but a turnover by Georgia. Walton goes by Obede and lays it in. Walton now in double figures. He has 10.
Euro step by Walton. A turnover by J.J. Frazier. And there's another one. Parker losing it out of bounds.
Well, Georgia had committed only 2 turnovers in the first 11 minutes of this half, and now 2 turnovers in the last 20 seconds.
Giving Missouri a fighting chance.
Georgia has won 5 straight in this series, and Missouri has never won in this building since joining the conference. In fact, they've lost those 3 games by an average of 19 points. Walton guns it. Barnett, the offensive rebound, pulls it out. Puryear driving. He throws it away. Phillips picks it up. Barnett, still lots of time on the shot clock, and he hits the jumper. Barnett now in double figures. That's 3 now for the Tigers as Barnett hits 11 for the day.
The turnovers by Georgia on their last couple of possessions allow Missouri to claw their way back into the game and then slow the tempo when the Dogs have the basketball. Missouri getting right back in it.
Georgia might need their Dobo, Kent Davidson, to get the things going again here. You know, after he got in that dust up, that's when Georgia got fired up.
Nobody wants to see that.
Parker, the rolling miss. Puryear with that rebound. That's 4 for him today. Missouri down the floor, a chance to tie or take the lead. Foul is going to be called on Georgia. Looked like Georgia might be pulling away, but Missouri taking advantage of Bulldog mistakes to claw their way back in it. has opened the door for Missouri to climb back in this thing after Georgia had led by 8. Tigers down 2, and Walton at the line with a chance to tie the game. He's the only Missouri Tiger to shoot a free throw today, and he's now 5 for 6.
Walton has been aggressive, has been driving to the basket for much of this day. That's what Missouri will need here to close out this game if they're going to have a chance to win it. They'll need Walton and the other Tigers. Aggressive, drive to the basket, get to the foul line. They're going to generate enough points to win the ballgame.
Our third tie today. We're knotted at 51 as we click under 7.5 to play in regulation. Stolen by Walton, a chance to put Missouri on top, and he missed the layup, but he was fouled by Gino, and so now he'll go to the line with a chance to put the Tigers back on top.
The turnover monster has reared its head again in the second half. These last few minutes of the game, Walton getting to the basket, just lay it off the top edge of the square, put it off the glass, give yourself a chance for the three-point play. A great play by Walton to get the steal. And maybe 1 point for the Tigers.
Yeah, just his second miss from the foul line today. Georgia thought they had taken that turnover monster and locked him into the locker room at halftime, but apparently he slipped back out on the floor. Missouri back on top.
The Tigers, a team that struggles to score so much. If Georgia doesn't help them, they don't throw the ball to them and turn it over. The Dogs should be able to get out of here with a win.
Maton. Barnett fouled him, and that'll put Yante Maton at the line. Missouri on a 10-2 run. Maton will go to the line, a chance to do something about that. Maton's going to have 2. Van Leer, not Barnett. Van Leer was called for the foul. Georgia has not scored in the last 2:14. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 2 of the top teams in the conference meeting at Rupp Arena. Dusty Hannas and the Arkansas Razorbacks in Lexington to take on the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats, and Malik Monk right here on SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. So Georgia back on top. After Maton hits a couple, he now has 14 today. He leads Georgia in scoring. Barnett puts Missouri back on top.
Big shot by Barnett. Good job by Missouri attacking. When they take those quick shots, they seem to get much higher quality opportunities to score. Barnett hitting a big one.
Diatta to Edwards. Edwards working against Van Leer. Hits it in. First points of the day for Edwards. And Georgia back on top. We've gotten on a little bit of a seesaw here. 6.5 to play.
Mike Edwards has struggled for most of this day, able to finally get that shot down.
Barnett, 3 ball on its way, making the rebound. 8 boards for him to go with his 14 points. Frazier guns by, the defense blocked by Van Leer. Ahead to Phillips. Phillips goes right at Maton, missed the layup. Got too far underneath the basket. Had Frazier calling for it on the wing and said, I'll take it myself.
Phillips still begging for the call at the other end of the court. Frazier didn't get it on his first drive to the basket. A nice job that time, staying under control by Jordan Harris. Getting up strong with the basketball, putting it off the glass, giving himself a chance for the three-point play.
First basket of the day for Jordan Harris. The foul on Puryear, by the way, was number 4 on him. And what a disappointing day it has been for the Tigers' sophomore star. Only 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting.
Kim Anderson with a chance to win this game. He's going to ride Kevin Puryear. Let him play through the foul trouble.
Stolen by Frazier. Dipsy Doodle puts it in. 7-0 run, Dogs back up by 6. Timeout, Missouri. How about Frazier with his 4th steal of the day? And J.J. Frazier has made a huge difference in this game. He was scoreless, having taken only 1 shot in the first 19 minutes. But for the last 15 minutes, it has been his party.
I tell you what, this crowd has made a big difference in this game as well. They have been vocal and have really spurred these Dogs on to the success they've had in the second half.
Another steal for the Dogs. Frazier ends up with it and banks down the jumper. Dogs back up by 8. Phillips has it slip out of his hands. Purrier ends up with it. Still plenty of time for the Tigers to work with. Phillips been knocking down threes all day. Not this time. Edwards the rebound.
At this point, as we tick under 5 minutes in the game, unless Georgia has a great opportunity to score early in the shot clock, they need to start paying attention to the clock. Run a little time.
Harris, he's 60% on his threes this season. Missed that one.
About how many points I thought it would take to win this game. Hard to imagine Missouri is gonna get there at this point.
Violent mid-air collision as Edwards slams into Woods. And Woods will go to the foul line. He'll become the first Tiger at the stripe other than Walton today. 61% free throw shooting.
I would say about 65 wins this one. So Missouri is going to have to really put the clamps down defensively and take advantage of their chances to score as Woods missed it badly.
Yeah, Georgia on a 9-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 7 seconds. But you heard Damian Fishback in our studios talking about it. You know, Missouri's just got to be sick of losing. 5-game losing streak overall. They've lost 5 straight to Georgia in this series. They've lost 23 straight SEC road games. They led by 6 at halftime. Find themselves down by 8 as we get close to 4 minutes. Diatta! A 3-pointer for Diatta as he matches his career high. Largest lead for Georgia as they stretch it out to 11.
It is hard to stay encouraged, hard to focus, get to practice every day, work hard, and do what it takes to win games when you're not getting rewarded with wins.
Barnett, the 3, was looking for a foul. Georgia, a chance to run. Kim Anderson fired up. Edwards has it stolen by Phillips. 3-on-1 for the Tigers. Fake behind the back and put it in.
I thought he might have double dribbled there. Right before the fake behind the back, I thought he bounced it with both hands as Kim Anderson.
Wow, Kim Anderson just got teed up by Jason Baker, I believe.
Now, just called timeout.
3 in Orlando, 1 in St. Louis, 1 in 3. But in true road games, again, it's been a long time since they went back home with a smile on their face.
Well, they have held up pretty well here against a formidable opponent in the Georgia Bulldogs, but it's getting late, and the Dogs have control at this point.
Biggest lead of the game for Georgia. Frazier thought about a 3, working off the screen, going to get it back to make. Running clock now, directing traffic. Got a double screen, and Frazier fires off the iron. Run out opportunity here for the Tigers if they can take advantage of it. Dice nearly traveled. Mark Fox says, where was the travel? Phillips ends up tripping. What do you think, Barry? Was that a travel?
Yes, it was. The official ruled that he did keep 1 foot on the floor as he dribbled, but both feet
off
left
the ground. Yep.
So that's like a pass to yourself. That would be a travel, but Geist sold it, gets away with it. Missouri a chance to score, not taking advantage with Phillips at the line.
5th miss at the foul line for the Tigers. Phillips has had a pretty good day offensively. 16 points. He's their leading scorer. Only 1 assist. A lot of time on that assist number is the guys at the other end of the pass not helping you out. You might have made a good pass. They didn't knock down the shot.
Yeah, Missouri has had some good scoring chances, especially in the first half, that they weren't able to convert. It's a team that struggles offensively. Georgia it took them a while to get going, but the Dogs finally have gotten things cooking here in the second half.
Offensive foul on Harris, his second. So 8 points down Missouri. What do they have to do here, Barry, this final 2.5 to come away with a victory?
Got to attack quickly. I'd like to see him drive it to the basket just right away and then either score at the rim or kick it out for an open three-point shot. But they cannot afford to pass that ball around this zone and let time tick away.
Yeah, burning lots of time right here. Less than 10 on the shot clock now. Phillips guns a three off the iron, and pushing foul is going to be called on
Maton.
Yeah, Georgia. Maton, was it? If Maton, his Eggman Coliseum on Wednesday night, and the Aggies off to an 0-2 start in the conference after being obliterated by Kentucky their last time out.
It's like the fortunes of the SEC basketball clubs are looking up. With Kentucky, of course, a national title contender, but Florida, really strong RPI, having a great season. South Carolina looking very good. Georgia would be an NCAA tournament team at this point as well. Arkansas would probably make the tournament if the season ended today. So 5 teams out of the SEC looking good for the NCAA tournament as we sit here in early January.
And we have 3 more games coming up on the network today, so keep it right here. A Bay the miss. As you heard Peter tell you, Mississippi State and LSU coming up in about 30 minutes, a little bit more than that, from the PMAC. Then Ole Miss and Auburn, Arkansas and Kentucky will wrap it up, followed by SEC now. Down to 1:22 to play.
A lot of time burning between shots by Missouri.
Diatta the rebound. That should do it. Georgia up by 7 in control of the ball. They got the ball in the hands of their 90+% free throw shooter, J.J. Frazier. Highly unlikely it's going to leave his hands anytime soon.
Great ball handler.
Maton takes a run and start. And a foul is going to be called on Missouri.
It looked like Maton was a bit out of control there. Woods hadn't reached in. That may have been a charge on Deontay Maton. Instead, Maton getting to the line as we're under a minute to play. And the Dogs going to get out of here with a victory, but in a much more challenging fashion than they would have expected entering the day.
Well, Maton with 14 points today has moved past Kentavious Caldwell-Pope into number 44 on Georgia's all-time scoring list. He became the 48th 1,000-point scorer in Georgia history when he scored 18 points against South Carolina on Wednesday. Now, we started today, Barry, by saying, Georgia could not lose this game. They had to win this game. Looking ahead to the SEC standings and further on down the road to the NCAA tournament picture, they've got a big week coming up at Ole Miss, at Florida in this coming 7 days.
Yeah, chance to
offensive foul on Phillips.
Chance for the Dogs to determine whether they could be a factor in as far as the conference title goes this year.
Not unless they have an NBA exhibition game there next year, right?
That's right. So wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Georgia leading by 8, not out of the woods yet. Frazier fumbles the ball, and here we go again.
Yeah.
The officials come running in. The benches start standing up.
But
Kent Davison and Steve Shields put on their gloves again last season. And let's see, the officials finally got it squared
the shot
away.
Clock and
give it to Missouri. Yep. So Missouri still got a shot here.
So another turnover against the Dogs. That's
Phillips shot blocked by Edwards, and Maton got it. And a foul in the backcourt, and Maton will go to the line. And let's see, the foul is going to be called on Phillips. That's number 4 on him.
Mike Edwards, long player for the Georgia Bulldogs, able to get up, block that shot. It's one of those deals, you're up by 8, you get the basketball, and it's like, I'm trying to pass it, I'm trying to get rid of it, but oh no, they fouled me. I got to go get 2 points at the line.
So Mayton with 15 today. That's still 5 below his per game average. 7 of 11 at the line for Mayton today, and Georgia right at 70%. We told you earlier. They're 74% for the season. They're 71% today, 22 of 31.
Mayton, a better shooter than that. He has 3-point range. Expect to see him be more consistent from the foul line than what he looked like on that first foul shot attempt a moment ago.
Phillips, the drive, dishes to Barnett, who slams it. And foul. We'll put Georgia at the line again.
Mayton once again trying to get to a scoring average today.
Mayton 16 points, 9 rebounds today. Frazier 16 points, 4 assists, 4 steals today. Also got double figures from Parker, a 4th consecutive game. He's got 11. Mayton now at 17. Georgia, if they can finish this thing off in the next 37 seconds, will pick up their 10th overall win of the season and their 2nd SEC win of the season. They play at Ole Miss Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU.
After a 20-point first half from Georgia, 48 so far in the second half, probably on their way to 50. Nice bounce back by the Dogs.
Van Leer the miss, Geis got it. He'll fire again and miss. Edwards the rebound, and he'll be fouled, and Edwards will go to the line. So it looks like Georgia's going to survive here after trailing by as much as 8, and for most of the first half. Georgia's going to win this game and send Kim Anderson and Missouri back to Columbia, South Carolina, where they're going to fly home to Columbia, Missouri. Because of the bad weather in Atlanta yesterday, they were unable to fly into Atlanta. They had to fly to Columbia, Missouri, and take the bus ride over to Athens. So they'll go back to Columbia today and then back to Columbia from Columbia.
It's tricky.
Edwards at the foul line, 69% free throw shooter there for the 2nd time today. He's 0 for 1 with 2 points. And did not get the bounce. Van Leer, long outlet comes to Geis. He'll be firing soon, I believe. Goes right at the hoop and one. And then Phillips takes a big tumble underneath the basket. That's the last thing Georgia wanted to do right there.
Yeah, foul a guy.
Let him get the layup. Yeah, let him get the layup, inbounds the ball, and get fouled, right? That's the plan.
Well, Mizzou fighting to the end. Trim that lead down to 5 as Geist able to knock that one home as the whistle had already blown. Don't know why Phillips decided to jump in that situation, but crashed over J.J. Frazier.
And they fouled Diatta. Yeah, I think Phillips was anticipating perhaps an offensive rebound there in case Geis missed it. So he wanted to be in the right spot to get it if it caromed off the rim.
But after the whistle blows, Frazier just sort of...
Oh, well, they didn't see Frazier.
Yeah.
Frazier was involved in the equation as well.
Well, he's a little guy. Easy to have him get underneath you, but the whistle had blown. That's my point, though. Before Phillips left the ground, the whistle had sounded, so offensive rebounds and putbacks, all that stuff's off the table.
New career high for Pape Diatta today as he has 11.
50-point second half for the explosive Georgia Bulldogs.
5th three-pointer of the day for Phillips. It'll be lost here in another loss for Missouri, but Phillips with the big three-pointer, that gives him 20 points. His best game offensively since that Xavier game back in the 2nd game of the season.
It's, when you're used to being a starter and the coach decides, hey, I'm going to bring you off the bench today, you know, sometimes having a good game is the last thing you want. Is you you know, you enjoy being a starter, getting able to hear the cheers as you're being announced before the game. Terrence Phillips, it's 2 games in a row where he's played very well off the bench for Kim Anderson. We'll see whether Coach Anderson decides to stick with the starting lineup he's used lately.
Back to a 5-point with 4.9. Georgia's never really just been able to put Missouri away here. Phillips finally picks it up across the half-court line. Will take another 3, and that will do it. Georgia scores 50 points in the second half, hit 14 field goals in the second half, doubling up their total of 7 from the first half, and they win it